This is the Your Sports Resource Podcast, where each week you'll learn actionable strategies that you can implement so the operations of your club support your coaching staff and the direction of your organization. We are committed to excellence in youth sports leadership. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome to the Your Sports Resource Podcast. My name is Renata Porter, and thank you very much for joining us today. We've had a really great run of guests lately, and we still have plenty in store for you over the next few months. But today, it's just me. And today, I'm going to talk about collaboration. And honestly, it's more about how to be a team player without feeling like you are struggling to meet your own tasks and needs. So it's kind of that balance between how do you participate in being a collaborative team member and still get all your own work done. So I wanted to talk to you about this today because if you get our newsletter, if you don't, please go to our website and sign up, yoursportsresource.com. But if you get our newsletter, then you know that the last few months we have been discussing protecting you and your staff's time while going through the championship season. Today's discussion aligns with that because whether you are part of the staff or a volunteer board member, we can all benefit from collaboration. However, often the work really gets dumped on the few, which is no way to run a business, right? So I don't think we need to get into the benefits of collaboration. We all intellectually understand that things are better when you review all options and possibilities. Things can be done quicker when you engage several people with the right skills to knock out a piece of work. And we all understand collaboration, but how do we participate without losing sight of our own responsibilities and then becoming burned out? That's what I want to talk about today. Okay. So first things first is to focus on the quality versus the quantity. And it's really easy to just, say we have to do this, this, and this without actually thinking things through. So often we tend to get drug into the, wouldn't it be great if, right? So our imaginations run wild. And we tend to overdo the simple tasks or add things to be completed that actually have no value or relevance. It's just something we think we need to do. So when looking at a piece of work, I would try to understand if there are items that are unnecessary or provide little to no value. Cut them and then get on with what really provides the impact that you are seeking. So again, do quality versus quantity, which means don't rush in, give it some thought, right? Next is to streamline your communications. Most of us are used to collaboration tools by now. The likes of Slack or Monday.com is something that we use. There's hundreds of tools that can be helpful to teams in making them efficient. What I want to discuss, though, are meetings and how we communicate. How we communicate can often end up making you chase your tail. If you're asking a question or even providing guidance, be direct and include all of the pertinent information. I know sometimes it's easier just to rattle off a quick response to an email, but often when it's fluffy or incomplete, it just causes confusion and frustration. And then the person has to send up a follow-up email, which means you have to write another email to respond, right? So it's all just such a waste of time. So if you catch yourself doing this, stop and spend an extra 2 minutes to craft a message that provides clear and complete information. Then let's talk about meetings. All right. So if you saw my recommendations in the newsletter last week, then you saw me tell you to cancel all non-essential meetings right now. You're spending 5 weeks traveling from meet to meet. So you could probably pare those meetings back, right? In the everyday instance, though, don't hold meetings that can be solved by a simple communication. Save meetings for when you really need engagement, creativity, and collaboration to move you and the works forward. Meetings to have meetings are just silly and a waste of time. And I know this is common sense, right? But we all get trapped in that, oh, let's just all come together and talk about it. When a lot of times it just takes a chunk out of the day and, it doesn't really help you move things forward. I think as a manager or a leader, you should really expect people to pay attention to their emails and read them. And then that way you can stop having meetings that talk about administrative items that could have took, a 3-sentence email for them to read and get the gist. Now let's move into setting boundaries. Often what I see is a lot of whining about how much work is on someone's plate, but they don't do a whole heck of a lot of prioritizing their own work and setting boundaries. So boundaries doesn't have to be the word no. I mean, that's what everybody goes to, but it can be not right now, or it can be, I can take this on, but somebody's got to take this piece of work, right? So it can be a negotiation in that situation. And this is where leaders can really get in trouble, right? They don't prioritize and delegate. And then they wonder why, they're beaten down and tired. You have to protect your workspace, your workplace. And that doesn't mean pushing everything off. What it means is purposely structuring your work so you're organized towards providing value. Sometimes there's crap that we just have to do that we don't want to do. Okay, I get that. But that still comes down to structure and making sure you establish your day so you can get the things done that need to get done. So boundaries in this case, or for me rather, is not always about saying no. It's about doing the right things at the right time and hyper-focusing on being structured and organized. There's a lot of people who probably just rolled their eyes at me at that statement. But I promise you, structure will set you free from being overwhelmed and feeling like a failure, honestly. If you need help, reach out, rp@yoursportsresource.com. All right. So the next area that allows you to collaborate without becoming overwhelmed is building an empowered culture. When working collaboratively on a piece of work, you as the leader, I'm speaking to the leader in this instance or this example, is that you have to trust your people to do their part. Leave them to it. If they don't show up at the next session with having their work done or what you expected them to have done or whatever you needed, and it puts everyone else behind because, they can't do their work unless this other person does theirs first, then there's a correction point there. But nothing halts creativity and engagement quicker than someone looking over your shoulder. You know this yourself, right? You don't want somebody constantly standing over your shoulder. Again, there must be accountability, but micromanagement is not the way. All right. So be clear on your expectations and then let them get after it. Let them do it in a way that's comfortable for them as long as they get the results that are expected. After all, you did employ them, right? So you hired them for a reason. So allow them to own their work. Now, the last area is investing in training and technology. Now, I see clubs build training into their budget every year, but have absolutely no plan on how they're going to use that budget. And so the end of the year comes around and it's more of an oh shit moment that I've got to get to my budget, right? Or even worse, that bucket gets pilfered for other use, which means you or your staff don't receive, many of the paid opportunities that you were going to take for them to learn, like traveling to a clinic or something like that. So when planning your budget for training, please don't make that number up. Actually think through what everyone needs. As a matter of fact, I would ask your team. And if you're a team member listening to this podcast, I would, because we're getting into the period where everybody's going to be working on their budget, I would be thinking about what I want to in order to improve. And I would send that to my manager and say, I would like to work with a mentor I would like to go to this clinic. I would like to take this course, whatever it is. Is it okay for you to add this into your budget for next year so I can get some training? Okay. And I wouldn't make anybody any promises that it's going to come through, because really usually the board is the one who evaluates the budget and approves the budget. So don't make promises. But what you have is a well-informed budget item, because you've asked your staff, what is it that you feel like you need for the next year, or you as a staff member has given it to your manager. Okay. The other area is technology. And this is where, honestly, there's a lot of products out there that helps us automate and streamline our operational and administrative activities. Okay. There's also a lot of products out there to help sports clubs. Now, I'm not telling you to run out and buy into every shiny object, getting that shiny object syndrome, and just go after every single new application or tool, right? But you should be considering what is available to help streamline and reduce your workload, and also to enable you to be more collaborative. For example, or something like Slack is a great tool when you guys are going home to work on administrative items during the day. It's a good way to stay in contact instead of having to constantly pick up your phone and doing WhatsApp or text or whatever you're doing. It also allows you to share documents and links, and it just becomes really easy to use. And it's a tool. It's a great collaboration tool, and it keeps you structured and organized. Okay. So think about what tools can make you keep you on track and allow you to collaborate. Again, don't run after every single tool and be spending money left and right, but think about that. I think there's a lot of help that could happen there. Now, in order for you as an organization to move forward, that means work has to get done. And if you don't put some of these steps into play, then you will get those who just, really just want to live within their job description and not contribute to the team. And part of that is it's not because they're lazy. It's because there is a fear, a very real fear, that they are going to have to take on all this work because they just get dumped on, right? So show your coaches and the rest of your staff that you believe in collaboration, but that you're also going to ensure that everyone can deliver and that no one single person is going to drown in that work. All right. Thank you for listening today. And please subscribe, rate, and review this podcast so we can reach a bigger audience and help others such as yourself. And don't forget to visit the website, yoursportsresource.com, where you can find a lot of articles and tools, as well as more info on how you can work with us directly. Finally, remember, what is common sense is not always common practice. Put what you learn into action. Don't just be good at it, everyone. Thank you.